All right. Hello everyone, although I doubt anyone's here yet. Ironically, after all the fuss I made about it being the 7th stream, I'm looking now and total views are up to 77. Let me actually take a screenshot of that. That's something. Right, saved for later. Anyway, hello, Patchouli. Yeah, what's funny is that this is the 7th stream that I've done of Sunless, and not only that, but 7 is an important number in the lore of Fallen London, the sister game. So, today we are gonna finish this up, as I have been heavily implying. At least I'm pretty sure I can do that, and it shouldn't be too difficult, actually. I'm mostly done on things that I need to do to set up this stream. There's only one bit left that's even slightly luck-based. Oh, don't worry, I did see your thank you. Seriously, don't worry about it. Thank you for showing up. But yeah, I've only got one major thing left that's luck-based, and it's mostly just how fast I run into a particular enemy type. So, let's load up Kitty and get started right away. Right. Yes, actually, yes, time for crab. Okay, so what do we need? We need to finish the bandaged Poissonnier storyline. We need to, why do I have subpar officers equipped? We need to finish the Irrepressible Cannoneers storyline, and we absolutely need a source of Aposayan, along with one of the other colors, Cosmogon. Cosmogon's going to be much easier to get, considering we just need Blemigan. Okay, so let's make our preparations here. We're going to need, I believe, let me check my journal. Like I said, I tested this route before, but that was actually 2 weeks ago, so... Right, we need at least one Blemigan, which means we will need at least one barrel of honey. Where is it? Right, shops. Wolfsteak Exchange, Firkin of Prisoners honey, and yeah, let's get started on making our hold nice. Of all of the things that we generally need for this route, I don't believe we actually need this long box, but I'm not a huge fan of throwing things away anyway, so we'll probably just keep it around unless I actually don't have enough room in my hold for something. Speaking of room in my hold, we're probably going to need fuel for this, so let's see if we have anything. Yes, pass on our strategic information for some money. Also, hi Zeno, I forgot to greet you properly because I was busy talking my way through this. Yep, we've got some things to turn in for free fuel. So we're going to make 2 trips today, theoretically. One smaller trip and one larger trip. The small trip is mainly going to be getting the angler crab, then swinging around up to generally in the area of Mount Palmerston. We may also, if the map is the way I remember it being, although it might not be, we may also be stopping by Pigmoat Isle. Remember Pigmoat Isle? That was that rodent paradise from before. Don't need a spy. Let's rest in our townhouse a couple times. At this point in the game, we're so close to the end that money has ceased to be an issue, so I'm probably not going to be making a huge deal out of saving it. Right. We've got 2 of the 3 hunting trophies we need, like I said before. Got the, do we have the drowning pearls? Shoot. I could have sworn we... Yep, we have 17 drowning pearls. My eyes went straight over him. Anyway. What else do we need to do here? Oh, yes, this. Here's a fun thing. This game updated last Wednesday. And the update is we're finally getting one of the Kickstarter rewards for Sunless Sky, which is the Blemigan Gallivanter. A Blemigan sits atop a splintered crate, clicking and whistling at captains as they come near. You extend your hand and the Blemigan leaps on. Its tendrils entwine with your fingers and it chitters quietly. It meets your gaze and bobs its dome in greeting. It's very small. Is it old enough for naval service? You're pretty sure its mustache has been drawn on in pen in an attempt to look older. As you approach your ship's gangplank, the creature flutes and vibrates with apparent happiness. The bosun winces as you bring it aboard. So yeah, this is a brand new mascot officer that increases mirrors and pages, which is actually more useful than our current mascot. So, welcome aboard, Blemigan Gallivanter. This was an unexpected bonus. Anyway, I believe that's basically all we need to do here for now. I'll spend some of my favors to repair the hull. Can we do anything? It has made its home on a shelf in your cabin. It has built a nest from loose journal pages, the engineer's scarf, and a possibly pilfered map. You can see the indentation of a porthole on the rim of its cap. It must have been pressing its face to the windows again. Is it bored? The Blemigan flails and squirms as you tickle it. Its high-pitched warble is almost certainly giggling. When you stop to check that you're not actually hurting it, it wraps its tendrils around your fingers and pulls your hand back. Apparently, it is enjoying itself. Sunless Skies is currently in early access. So it's not finished yet, but it is available to play, although that may only be for Kickstarter backers, because I have it, but I also backed the Kickstarter, so... Is that all we need? Oh, wait. Okay, we've got 18 fuel. Let's bring that up to a nice round 20. And for the time being, I believe that's all we need. So, let's head out. Right. let's see, where is Pigmoat? Pigmoat Isle is right there. That's actually a very good spot for it. So we're going to be generally spending a bit of time until we find what we're looking for around these 4 areas. Demo's Gate, the Corsair's Forest, Shepherd's Wash, and the Snares. We are looking for a giant crab, which we are going to fight. Hey, Dreamo! God, everyone's here. You've got good timing. We are just heading off to fight a crab. Unfortunately, not a friend. Alrighty. If you go around these general areas of the game, you'll usually run into a crab eventually. I don't particularly want to do too much, like, load manipulation. Here's my Nightmare of an Eye again. That's still a thing that... I think we're in luck. Yep, there it is. Unfortunately, these, rocks are slightly less than ideal for our fighting purposes, since we can't maneuver quite as freely. But a giant crab, as I have found out in the intervening period between last stream and this one, is much easier to fight with no injuries than a lifeberg. And yeah, it actually seems like this is working in our favor because the crab is getting stuck on rocks. Unfortunately, the rocks are also somewhat blocking our shots. But I believe this is it. Boom. Oh, hey! Oh, this is, So, once you've started an affair with anyone in the game, well, any of the officers, you can get this random event that allows you to have a romantic tryst with them. But in between our first, the first time this event loaded, and when we actually started it, if you remember, the Longshanks gunner actually left. So this actually ends. This is the official end of the affair. We just get 5 terror from it. The night is a little darker. So, what we want to do, which one was it? Shoot. I believe that the correct answer here is to dissect the thing. Yep, hunting trophy. You and your ship's doctor clamber over the beast as it lies on the lee of your ship. Its blood is a curious blue, and the blood, too, is touched by luminescence. It's a female, but there are no eggs. And what's this on its belly? Someone has chiseled 7 marks between 2 horizontal lines, like pillars supporting a roof. Right. That was, as I said in the lead-up to this episode, the only actual bit of this route that is luck-based. If we had been unable to find an angler crab, this would have taken quite a bit longer. So the next thing we do is a bit of an asshole move, but unfortunately it's the only way I can see at the moment to get our source of Apasayan without fighting something or relying on the random number generator manipulation. So, we are back here on the Mouse Isle, and if you remember, the rat star that they worship, otherwise known as the Lady's Eye by the Cavies, is actually a lump of blue scintillac, which is a huge source of Apasayan. What we need to do, after we compile a port report... Also, I skipped over it because I forgot that port reports change here. Apparently, from our reports of this place to the Admiralty, other sailors call us Captain Whiskers. So, here's what we do. The survivors of the war have been sent to this swamp where they ponder their failure. Rat guards patrol from atop a spiked wall, passing the time by pelting the mud-slicked guinea pigs with sharp rocks. Assist the Cavi revolution. Give us your cunning. We will help you steal the Lady's Eye. The loss will crush their resolve. This guarantees you the Rat Star, but will cost 5 veils. Our veils is at 50, so costing 5 of it is not a big deal. So let's do this. Mud helps to disguise a few of the braver Cavies. They scurry through the dark, carefully maintaining their night vision by avoiding looking at the eye. Your plan works perfectly. They sneak up on the rats guarding the Lady's Eye and slit their throats. You watch from a careful distance. The light of the chickenwood suddenly goes out, blinding you with sudden darkness. You hear movement, a slight glow from an open oilskin bag. The Cavies return triumphant and present you with the Lady's Eye, as agreed. Take it, whispers the lead guinea pig. Take their light from them. She disappears into the shadows. Squeaks echo in the darkness as the Cavies seize their advantage, flooding out of the ghetto to attack the confused rats. The loss of their treasure may or may not decide the outcome, but your part in this fight is over. It is time to leave. You doubt you will be welcome back anytime soon. So, we lose the rat that was on our ship, and we have now been banned from Pigmote Isle and lost 5 veils, but in exchange we have a lump of blue scintillac. We could try to force our way back in. A small but determined battalion of angry rodents answers your return with steely resolve. So they can, in fact, keep us from coming back in. Ah, yes, and because Dreamo is here this time, it's not actually part of the route, but it's on the way. They play at night, they stalk at night, they're the rats. Here it is as promised. This is the Sisterhood of Abbey Rock. A black spit of an island, far from anywhere anyone would want to go. And that's how the Sisterhood likes it. Here stands their fortress convent. There are bear traps that look friendlier than this. Nothing is happening. The sisters watch us. We feel their eyes. The sea crashes on the rocks, withdraws. The fortress stands stolid as the last year of a century. The greatest peril you risk here is a certain purpleness of prose. So let's, we actually do have recent news and we don't have anything better to do with it. So the muscular prioress, the abbess's lieutenant, comes to the door to listen. She nods and makes notes. She pays particular attention to news of marsh beast predations and the traffic of the rooftops. In return, she offers a rather perfunctory blessing, but the blessing reassures your crew. And we finally have the ability to watch the convent. Like huge and deadly herons, the sisters stalk along the very tops of the walls. You watch through a spyglass as they leap and whirl, slashing at each other with a variety of frightening weapons. God, one of them just turned a somersault! That's basically the extent of what we can do at Sisterhood. Unfortunately, there's not really a storyline associated with this place. But honestly, the concept of battle nuns is cool enough that you don't really need a storyline. Plus, you do actually have one particular storyline that involves them in Fallen London. Oh! That Gillifleur. Actually, this is a good chance to show something off. So that lump of blue Skintalak in our inventory is actually a thing we can use in battle. It instantly refills, on a long cooldown admittedly, our weapon thing, and it's an infinite use item. So it's actually good to have blue Skintalak even if you're not trying to finish that particular storyline. Yeah. And now Mount Palmerston. So yes, we finally went to a convent of some variety. I believe it does all weapons. Yeah, I actually remember that because I've actually had longer games of this where I've had more than one weapon, and in that case, a high mirror score along with blue Skintalak is incredibly good. That 2 weapons, high mirrors and blue Skintalak, can actually allow the second most basic ship in the game to take down some of the harder stuff like the Tree of Ages. The reason there's all the Z's is actually because of Dutch. Like, it's mentioned a couple times that a lot of the first sailors from London were actually essentially Dutch people, and that's where all the Z's come from. So the main thing we're going to want to do at Mount Palmerston is buy a few things. First off, 1 tin of Zoop, which is not because that one. I know I just said the Z's are because of Dutch, but that is not because of Dutch. The Zoop is because it's devil soup. And here's a big secret. The reason you see double Z's so often in relation to devils is because devils are actually bees. And let's get 3 Devil Bone dice. So yeah, double Z's are because devils make buzzing noises, because they are actually straight up... Like, okay. Let's go talk to the Wistful Deviless for a second. That's not her body. That is a papier-mâché suit full of bees. No, the Carnelian Exile is not a devil. Okay, so This is actually something... Okay. So, we don't actually need to do this storyline. But for flavor's sake, honestly, considering what's going to happen in this episode, I'm going to go ahead and... let's leave our soul somewhere for safekeeping. Do you happen to have a case of souls for me? No, I'm not going to eat them. We don't eat souls, usually. I'm not clear how that story got around. I told you that I miss London. I miss hell. I'd like a keepsake. And all souls are ours, by right. Or you could just lend me yours. She bites her lip and looks up into your eyes. I'll keep it safe. Much safer than at Z. If you drown, it'll be here with me for always. Mortals do drown so. She places a slender, sallow hand on your wrist. Through your cuff, it's warm as a stone in the sun. It won't hurt at all. Perhaps this is how a bottle feels when it's uncorked. A moment of nervousness, a moment of release, and then a certain freedom. The Deviless smiles radiantly, holding up your soul in its jar, cuddling it like a kitten. Let me tell you something very special. She whispers it into your ear. Her breath smells like hot stone. But you should go now. Thank you. Come back soon. So, we've never been told exactly what devils do with souls, but I have a personal theory. You remember how we have that weird honey that can transport us into dreams? We're actually carrying some in our hold right now. It's mentioned somewhere that that kind of honey is made in hell. I'm guessing that souls are to devils what nectar is to bees. It's a thing they use to make honey. Well, red honey is made of memories. Prisoner's honey is made of dreams. And red honey is made by bees crawling around in the brain. It makes sense that dream honey would be made of bees crawling around in the soul. One other thing that I promised, and hopefully this is the right spot. Let's dive in. Yep, this is the right one. The Abyss of Graves. Shelves have been cut into the rock walls. Some are large enough to hold ancient waterlogged ships, crusted with long-dead barnacles. Others are smaller, holding pairs of clay coffins and a smattering of grave goods. Jugs and bowls. We did damage our hull a bit, but it's still holding strong. Perform the ritual of solace. A procession of statues lines the Z floor, facing away from the church. They carry coffins on their shoulders. Their march ends at a precipice, descending into a further abyss. Retrieving a clay coffin from a wall niche and bringing it on board, you lie within. Your sailors bore a hole for your air hose, feed it through, then lower the lid into place. The last thing you hear is the muttering about abyssal heathenry. The coffin is maneuvered out into the deeps, affixed to a winch, and lowered into the chasm. At 7 minutes, the darkness stirs. At 14 minutes, all sound ceases, even your breath, even your heart. At 21 minutes, there is a sudden bang! Another. Something is knocking on your coffin's lid. They wrench it free. She is here. She waits in the dark. The waters flow gently around you, alive, curious, adoring. There is something in the darkness. No, there is someone in the darkness. Your hand disturbs the hem of a black dress. You look up. A pale face. Her features seem washed away, as fluid as her gown of ink. I cannot remember how long it has been since I had a companion. Her voice quavers. Her arms reach out around you, far longer than they have any right to be. Enter her embrace. She will be alone no longer. This will end your game, but future captains will receive a bonus. Unfortunately, we're not quite ready to see Lady Black yet. So, for the time being, let's just make sure she remembers us. Tug your line. Ascend. How many sailors can claim to have escaped Lady Black? The coffin speeds upwards. Lady Black follows you, silently. She does not labor to keep pace. She examines you through your face visor with fierce interest, as though trying to commit your every feature to memory. After 7 minutes, she sighs. After 14 minutes, she plucks a strand of her coiling hair and ties it to your line. After 21 minutes, as your submarine comes into view, she grasps your hand. She squeezes your fingers urgently. Then her hand slips from yours, and she is gone. We lost all of our terror for that. Gained 5 hearts, 3 mirrors, and 2 of every other stat. And Lady Black will remember you. Don't worry. We'll be seeing her again soon enough. Yes, it technically does business, but you'll see what I'm talking about once we finally finish this. My actual point was, this is another thing I promised in the first stream, along with dating the Longshanks gunner and going nun watching. So I had to do it, but I want to end this game in an actual victory. And unfortunately, dating Lady Black is not considered a victory for the purposes of the game. But there is a way that we can essentially do the same thing and have it be counted a victory. But yes, in terms of pure game mechanics, we are now locked out from the Lady Black storyline. In terms of actual story, all we need to do to actually meet her again is probably drown. Not this time, bats. Let's stop off at Venderbite. Get us ourselves a port report. Explore. Here we go. The builders of this place worked with great slabs of neath-wall stone. carved with blank-eyed, unsmiling faces and blocky, stoic servants. The Neath is rarely gentle. Treat this place as enemy territory. You're not the first to come here. Someone's left a long oak casket under a carpet of creepers. Hey, Parabola Linen! Parabola is the serpent place behind mirrors. Or someone made that up. But in that case, where do they weave this sleek and ambery glittering cloth? So let's give the first curator our Apocyan. The curator cups its hands over the lump of glowing coral. Its face, you see now, is masked with copper. Its fingers wither in the light. A curl of smoke rises. But it only clutches the coral tighter. The sea, it whispers. I smell the sea. Yeah, that is how it works, Streamo. Basically, you get a book of essentially your crew have dreams about you two long after you're down there, and one of them writes it into a book of poetry, which is the bonus item you get that persists between captains. I believe it gets you plus 10 pages, which is an important bonus, and I would absolutely go for it if I was planning on showing you guys more than one playthrough of this game. But unfortunately, that would take too long, and also I don't want to spoil absolutely everything in this game for you guys. Just so there's still a ton of things that you guys haven't even seen. Oh hey, 30 HP Pirate Steam Pinnacle. That's cute. Another cache of curiosities. And a cask of mushroom wine. That's actually something we need, so I'll only have to buy 4 of those now. So that was the shorter trip we'll be taking today. This was basically for preparation's sake. All we have left now is to get Cosmogon back to Venderbite. Oh yes, we've got customs again, but this time we're not carrying anything illegal, so they can just search us. And the Alarming Scholar is giving us 2 supplies. The Scholar is a pretty fun character, and I like having them around. There is a way to essentially... There's a way to lose the Scholar, and it's if you give them 7 Searing Enigmas at once, they go insane. You do get a good item out of it, but God, is it worth it? Alrighty, we have our recent news, -5 terror, and so on and so forth. Let's dry dock our ship once again. Heal up. Basically just heal up in every way we possibly can. And importantly, because there's no place else we can actually get this, we're going to go ahead and sell our Parabola Linen and buy 4 casks of wine. Up to 5. We have 11 supplies, and in our hold is, I believe, everything we will need. So, I will spend the rest of our money on fuel. Or not the rest of our money, the rest of our space on fuel. And because this may be the last time that we leave London, take a rest in our awesome townhouse once again. Let's check our officers. And I believe we are ready. So, this is going to be this is going to be our big trip. The first thing we're going to want to do is head down to the Iron Republic. Then we are going to head up to Khan's Shadow, and then swing around. Actually, no, Khan's Shadow. Go up to Station 3 very quickly, and then back. Eastival, the Shellinet, back to Khan's Heart, down to Adam's Way, and quickly back to... Oh wait, also we have to... When we go down to Adam's Way, we'll be stopping at Mycologia and Polythrium very quickly. Then back to Venderbite to drop something off. Then Fathom King's Hold. And then it'll be very shortly... It'll be essentially a straight shot to the end of the game. So, step 1. Go directly south. Don't worry too much about our fuel supplies, because it's actually good, especially at this point in the process, since we're going to the Iron Republic, if we end up using a lot of fuel, because Iron Republic has really cheap and easy fuel. Not today, Crab. Speaking of the Cumian Canal right here, actually, the last subscriber storyline that I played in Fallen London actually took place there, and it was quite a bit of fun. I infiltrated a weird prison. Yeah, Gillifleur are really deceptively fast. You have to be very careful around them if you're
low on health, because they can cover a lot of distance very quickly. So back to Industrial Revolution hell. So we need to talk to this guy, the Tittering Artificer. With the Irrepressible Cannoneer and a Judgment's Egg. That's why we needed to get that last time. I know people here, the Cannoneer confides. From the old days. Perhaps we shouldn't talk about the old days. The Cannoneer and the Artificer place the Judgment's Egg on the seal, and apply their instruments. The light in the Artificer's chamber grows dim. This, then, is what it sounds like when a soul screams. When they're done, the egg lies in shards, and the seal looks a little different, but there is a watchfulness about it. The Artificer shakes the Cannoneer's hand. "I've missed working with you." "Oh, I've missed working with you," she says. "I've missed it so much." The Cannoneer grins that grin. "Nearly done. We can mount it on the bridge if you'd like, but we'll need a housing if we want to use it further. It'll have to be heart metal. I knew a man long ago, but I hear he went to Station 3. Swam there, the story says. If you can get us to the run of Station 3, I can get you in to see him." "No, I don't know where Station 3 is. It's a secret." So, we've lost the Judgment's Egg, but we've turned the Seal of the Red Science into the Awakened Seal of the Red Science, which does something somewhat important, because you note how our bridge slot is empty? It's normally used for special lights. The Awakened Seal of the Red Science is a mirrors up 3, iron up 3 item that we can equip to the bridge, which importantly takes it out of the hold for a while, which means we can buy fuel. Right. Done at the Iron Republic. What angle should I... Actually, if I keep... No. Yeah, closest way is to go through the Salt Lions. I never really know what to say when we're sailing like this. There's not much to talk about, honestly, at this point. You've all seen kind of how the game works, so I can't really explain too many mechanics. So I guess, the father's bone... Oh, we've got a question for... Ooh, good question. I feel like somehow I've awakened the Kraken here, but I'm going to go ahead and... Oh! Pirate frigate. Yeah. I think it's probably gonna have to be... either Oku or Yukari. Oh dear. We have far too many supplies. But yeah, Oku or Yukari. I don't actually remember what Oku's age is, so she might actually be like aged up in the fan works I've seen. Yukari, however, I know is very much an old lady, so that's a thing. So yeah, to be safe, I'll say Yukari. I just like the whole gaps thing. So this is actually another good opportunity. Does anyone else have, like, questions about lore, game mechanics, or whatever that I might be able to answer while we're just kind of doing stuff? I mean, did we really expect anything else? It's actually kind of pointless to gather port reports at this point, but I do it anyway because it's I'm used to it by this point. This is actually somewhere we can sell the captivating treasure we got. And buy an empty mirror catch box. As well as, of course, a bit of fuel. Yeah, isn't it a thing that everyone in Tuhu is either a child or an old lady? Like, fun fact that I learned recently, Cyrano is 60. Like, what the hell is that? Cyrano is not 60 years old, except she totally is. Here's actually something that always confused me about this. One of the things you can do in Khan's Heart if you don't have access to the Nephrite quarter yet, which is the essentially the market quarter, you can buy fuel here at a hilarious overprice of like 40 echoes per unit of fuel. And it's kind of treated as if, like, you literally have nowhere else to go if you need fuel right the hell now. But the thing is, Khan's Shadow is right there, and you can buy fuel for 15 echoes. Which sure is a bit more expensive than London, but not enough to matter. So there's really no reason to ever buy fuel for 40 echoes from Khan's Heart unless the situation is you are literally completely out of fuel and would not be able to make it 5 feet away to Khan's Shadow. Alright, here we are at Station 3. Here's where we'll actually get some new text. Meeting the Heart Metal Smith. I don't know where he is. Can we ask directions? A clayman directs you with a minimum of enthusiasm and even fewer words. The smithy is a long, low building that you missed on your first survey of the island. The smith is a quiet man with a pinched face who works entirely in heart metal. The cannoneer greets him with a yell of delight. The smith winces, puts down his hammer, pinches the bridge of his nose. "It's you," he says. "2 of you." I will have to check out that fan art later. And here's a really, like, this looks like a big scary option, but all you actually need is the thing from the last step, 3 devil bone dice, at least 1 skull, and a searing enigma. And if you remember, the last step gave us a searing enigma for free. Yeah. Why is the smith so willing to help? Just how many outstanding favors are owed? The cannoneer shrugs this question off, smiling. I made a lot of bombs back in the day. A lot of bombs, for a lot of people, who don't like me to talk about it. I think that's why the university threw me out. I never dared to go back and ask, though. For 7 days the smith works. Only the cannoneer is permitted within. Your sailors place bets on whether they'll blow themselves up and whether the explosion will eradicate Station 3 as well. There are no explosions. At last the cannoneer opens the smithy door, grinning, a tired but dazzling grin. He gestures to the seal. Oh, we finally get an actual gender for the cannoneer, although this may be a a thing they change up. The armature that now constrains it is meshed with silvery heart metal. The glyphs flicker frantically like trapped insects. The weapon emits a constant, low, barely audible growl. The air in the room is stiflingly hot. Behold, the cannoneer says, the memento mori. The grin dissipates. It's finished. I'm not sure what to do now. Mount the memento mori on your ship or sell it to one of the warlike Z nations. Some will give you better prices than others. You may tilt the balance of power on the Z. That's actually an important thing. I mentioned in one of the other streams that there's actually a mechanic for like one group or faction becoming dominant. You can sell the memento mori to several different factions, and whoever you sell it to gains 1 point of supremacy. So, and that's actually, I think, is they all give you different prices for it, and the essentially in lore safest place that you can put it, the London navy by selling it to the dark spectacled admiral, is arguably one of the worst places to put it because he gives you the worst price. But it's also arguably one of the best places to put it because London is essentially the status quo, a safe bet, whereas selling it to the anarchists, the Dawn Machine, or the Comet will be really, really bad in terms of if London manages to survive or not. I mean, let's be real. The canonical appearance of Toho's is absolutely the fan art, because in game they just kind of look odd. Although Zun's art has been getting better, so that's something. Well, here's a small problem for us in this case. We're actually going to give it to the Fathom King because this is a marvel of science. Here's the problem. Forward weapon. Our ship literally doesn't have a spot to put it. Where's the next place we can get fuel? I'm gonna conserve my lights. Yeah, I've always kind of been confused by how much people fixate on, how do you pronounce her name? Is it Momiji? Either way, she's always seemed like I get that Toho fans love to put personalities on characters that didn't really have them in canon, but even among Toho characters, she doesn't have any dialogue at all. There's nothing to base it on. Oh, God, RuneScape, that takes me back. I used to play that game all the time. Hell, even after I stopped playing it for a while, I was so impressed with it that I stayed subscribed for a while because I felt they deserved my money. Oh, and she's in the official written stuff. I haven't read those, so. Alright. So let's fill a mirror catch box. We unfortunately got a wound from that, but we'll need this for later. Beach gather supplies as usual. We did lose a crew from that, but we gained 10 supplies. Fun fact, having more supplies than fuel is not actually an issue, because if you do happen to run out of fuel, let's say you happen to be playing fairly badly, it is entirely possible to essentially you can burn supplies for fuel. It's half the rate of normal fuel, so the same amount you get from one fuel, you have to spend 2 supplies to do it. Oh no, one of the... Well, yeah, he did. Or she did, actually. The text refers to the sailor with female pronouns. But she's gonna be dead very quickly because sunlight does that. So it's not like she's marooning herself. This again. We lost 5 terror from Lucky Bats with the... I seem to, especially in this game, get that particular event, the Crawling Stars, more than almost anything else. It's just the one where the false stars on the roof kind of glimmer in a weird way, and make a new constellation. God, I love any kind of Calvin Ball in stories. It's the best thing. Anyway, we can supply that barrel of rancid flesh that we got from the Gant pole last time. Again, for 200 echoes. And here we go. This is why we killed that crab and have been collecting hunting trophies. Find someone to teach secrets of butchery to the bandaged poissonnier. A bone man shows you the glyphs cut into his white-dusted palms. They mean separation, he tells you. He will instruct your chef if you can prove your worth. When the poissonnier returns to the ship, he is red to his elbows. I have learned what I need to know, he says, his voice haggard. Back in the galley, he throws away all of his knives but one. You watch it slice skin, bone, and butterfly, as precise as a surgeon's scalpel, as quick as a minnow. Flesh goes one way, skin and organs another. As the crew dine, he seeks you out. It goes well, my captain. I have my initial ingredients. I have my skills. But the flavors I pursue must be coaxed forth, like a hermit crab from its shell. I'm afraid I need very particular seasoning. Mutter salt and zoop. They sell the former at Wither, where the salt pools fizz and pop. Zoop is made at Mount Palmerston. Its composition is a secret, but anything that can be combined can be separated again with the right equipment. Not too much business. We got some sunlight, and our cook learned how to dissect things. And luckily... Oh yeah, that too. The deconstruction of Momiji. We can immediately give him the things he needs. He pokes his head from the galley. Have you my Muttersalt, Captain? My Zoop? I am keen to investigate their possibilities. A braising alembic bubbles eagerly in the background. Excellent! He retreats into his galley and bars the doors. Day and night his jugging crucible blazes. The galley portholes flare crimson across the Black Z. He does not answer the door. It's ship's biscuits and barreled water for a while. When he emerges, his bandages are yellow with smoke. I am victorious! The Zoop defied me, but I have broken it. Chanterelles from some soggy edge of London. Pig stock. A feisty dash of paprika. Lament onions. Petals from the exile's rose which grows in hell. And tears from a hanged man or a heartbroken priest. I believe either would suffice. The method of the ingredients' combination is singular. I believe I can make use of it. We are charting new culinary frontiers, my captain, but the Fathom King presides over the drowning feasts. He is accustomed to excess. We must amaze. That night, the crew dine happily on fish stew. The poissonnier keeps your wine glass topped up, and at the end of dinner approaches you nervously. I am afraid I have another request, Captain. I need something from Khan's heart. A certain book of recipes. If we were going that way... He fidgets with the ends of his bandages, avoiding your gaze. Why is he lying to you? Mysterious business in Khan's heart, eh? Well, we'll be going to Khan's heart next, but first we actually need to take a quick trip down to the Uttershroom. Ah, another crab. Sorry, crab, but we don't really have time for you today. Yeah, that's an elder angler crab. Or no, eastern angler crab, actually. Basically, they change color as you go further east. It also has more health. Approximately double the health of the basic angler crab. We probably could take it at this point, but it would just be basically a waste of time. Alright, we got our a tail terror from the place. I would assume that the lures are less for ships and more for the time it spends underwater. And we'll take one more Blemigan. Oh, this is new. We can encourage our Blemigan Gallivanter to explore. You didn't see this, Dreamo, but at the very beginning, the game's actually been updated, and one of the Kickstarter rewards for Sunless Skies was a new officer for this game. The new mascot, a Blemigan Gallivanter. So apparently we can do something here. Your ever-present Blemigan is for once nowhere to be seen. The engine room is quiet. Your maps are exactly as you left them. Not one is defaced or crumpled into a ball. Finally, you spot the tip of a tendril poking out from under a pile of unwashed clothing. Your Blemigan indicates that under no circumstances whatsoever will it be emerging. What could be so bad about the Uttershroom? Did the other mushrooms bully it? Right. So with our Blemigan, we can head up to Polythreme. And yeah, that's unfortunate. Please do not burn down the Uttershroom yet. There's still something I need there. Alright, hopefully see you soon, Dreamo. never made that connection with the Miko before. Anyway, we actually haven't been to Polythreme that often, and one of the things you can do here is cure your sharpness from Antha. But the main thing we want to do here is put a Blemigan ashore. Who knows what the living furniture will make of it. The last you see of your violet murder fungus, it seems to be flirting with a fanged water pump. Strange bedfellows. And we can reduce terror here for 30 echoes per 1 terror. It's expensive as hell, but we don't really care that much about money, so I'm going to do that a bit. Down to 35. That's a good thing. And then we head right back to the Uttershroom to pick something up. Since we have, in fact, now propagated 7 Blemigan, we can essentially get the final color that we need. Holy shit, that's totally fucking awesome. God. I'd honestly like to argue, but I can't. That's true friendship right there. Yeah, a whale hunting ship. The only actual experience I have with whale hunting is the time I read Moby Dick, which admittedly has a lot of information about whale hunting, and it's almost it's kind of close to a biological journal in a way, but it's also Moby Dick. Anyway, psst, psst, Zegoer, here. Shroom has something for you. Fell long ago. Best elsewhere now. The Shroomer won't touch it with her bare skin. Wise, nor should you. It's scorched and twisted the fungus flesh that it lies on. Its cosmogon glow has dyed the air around it. Mother of Mushrooms is grateful, explains the Shroomer. You've cast her far. She gives you a jewel. So we spent our 7 propagation for 1 ray-drenched cinder. Notice how it says a cosmogon glow? The only page of the Neathbow, and thus color we need to collect we have left, is Cosmogon. We cannot recruit the Uttershroom, it is too big to fit on our ship. It's kind of stuck in place. And we don't really have anything that's sharp enough to cut through something that thick. Now back to Khan's Heart. Also, for reasons that we won't be seeing in this playthrough because it's it's not possible at this point. If we actually were to move the Udder Shroom, the Fathom King would get super mad at us. Oh yeah, technically we made babies with the Udder Shroom. Guess what? We kinda cucked the Fathom King. I suppose the Udder Shroom is kind of like Natalia, only way sexier. Because, okay, so that other thing we could have taken from the 7 propagation was a Udder Shroom Spore, which is the other thing that the Fathom King accepts for Fruit of the Eternal Tree. And if you do give him that, he's like, oh, I had no idea the old girl was still kicking. Ooh, let's not tell my wife about this, eh? And he gives you an extra reward. Alright, see you soon, Dreama. We actually have spent so long away from Khan's Heart that we completely forgot about the Genial Magician storyline. Although it's not like it's going to matter at this point since we're not going to finish it. Let's just do the next step anyway, just for fun. The informers of the Copper Quarter by the docks peddle knowledge from all over the Untersee. The only things they won't sell are their real names. One who calls herself the Bright Bird introduces you, and the magician, to a wizened man in bright spider silk, a collector of looking glasses. The magician and the collector mutter together for a while. The collector wheezes with laughter. At last the magician returns, eyes bright. All shall be well, he says, and all manner of things shall be well. I know where to go now. I know what to do. Thank you, my friend. My revenge is almost within my grasp. He looks ruefully at his hook. We can also check here for the last constable. But since we're not going to be finishing that anyway, we should probably just do this. The poissonnier requests shore leave, and back pay in a form preferred in the Khanate. He stands stiffly before you. I will not need long, or much. Your cook wants to go ashore. He claims he needs to collect a book of recipes, but he is short on details and long on guilty fidgeting. He asks for his back pay in drowning pearls. They will ease my way past the white and golds. Bribes. So we can spend 5 drowning pearls, of which we have 17, to allow him his privacy, or follow him in secret with drowning pearls of our own. It doesn't actually matter if you follow him. And we find out what he's doing anyway. So he makes his way through the rainbowed streets, dropping pearls into the hands of the white and gold to accost him. You cross the bridges, bribe the same guards. You leave the colors of the copper quarter behind for the simple blue lamps of the porcelain quarter. They buzz more loudly and flicker more often. Machinery rumbles behind whitewashed walls. If you are found here, you will be killed. The poissonnier peers through a narrow window, where a woman and a young man bicker over noodles. The woman's hair is beginning to gray. The young man has narrow cheeks and dark, sullen eyes. He storms into another room. She throws up her hands. The poissonnier notices you and slips away from the window. His voice is stiff. "Captain, my behavior must have seemed very suspicious. I am sorry to have caused concern. Let us return to the ship. I should not have come." You return in silence. He refuses to answer questions. All right. Which is closer from here? 3, 1, 2. They're both about equidistant, but that's closer to the Fathom King's Hold, but all right. I know where to go. And in the meantime, let's once again talk to Bandage Man. After his visit to the Connaught, he is more fixated, less congenial. He corners you below decks, his eyes fervent between his wrappings. "I need a capstone for the feast, Captain. Something unforgettable. I have a vision. No, 2! One demands the core of a Lornfluke. The other requires a certain bird of the Elder Continent, a cockatoo, given to funereal poetry. I have heard a certain southern showman owns such a creature." He waves a casual hand. "Either would do. Do not trouble yourself with both. Acquire either a colossal fluke core or an elegiac cockatoo." We will be getting the elegiac cockatoo because the colossal fluke core would require us to kill a Lornfluke, which is the entire thing I've been trying to avoid this whole time. Actually, I'm going to stop by Scrimshander and reduce my terror. Because it's around 50, and yeah. One thing I always love is seeing the various islands from underwater. They're just kind of like silhouettes, and they actually block your sonar. It's a nice little detail. Considering this is the year 1888, I believe they are frowned upon, but not necessarily illegal. Then again, sleeping with tentacle monsters is also frowned upon, and I do that all the time, so. Oh, dojins. Armpits on their own are probably fine, but dojins probably fall too close to romantic literature. So, let's go into Scrimshander. Gather at the stage of history. And watch the various reenactments to lower our terror. Right down to 1. So, a lost pilgrim's passage? What was this? Oh. A pilgrim stands by the exit with a confused smile. She hesitantly begs you for passage to somewhere else. Too many trips through Scrimshander, perhaps, or any number of other causes, but after careful questioning, she ventures that she may be nearly finished with her pilgrimage. Only one holy place remains for her, the Gant Pole. Alright. We have exactly enough Z-stories to leave Scrimshander for the last time. You take a deep breath of bittersweet incense and recount your tales. As you speak, a chronicler carves your words onto bricks of ash and bone powder. The bone quill's scratching grates and the incense stings your eyes, but you continue. By the time you've finished, your head aches and the chronicler holds a handful of bricks. Before returning to your ship, you examine one. It bears your name and a short tale. But it isn't a memory of yours. You'd remember anything that outlandish. Best to leave before they realize the mistake they've made. I always love that whenever you leave Scrimshander, there's that whole thing where you're like, oh, they've made a mistake. That this isn't my memory. It's because they've taken your memory. Oh, hey, Frog. Didn't actually see you come in. Good to see you. So, our next destination is going to be Venderbite to turn in the last bit of Cosmogon. Is that a... Oh, that's a regular ship. I'm honestly just going to ignore it. Let's skirt around the Shepherd Isles. Basically, to sum it up, we got banned from Rodent Island, we've been ferrying our cook around. We finished making an awesome weapon called the Memento Mori, and we are now we finished essentially having weird mushroom sex with the Utter Shroom by spreading her spores around. We decided that for a giant semi-sentient mushroom, spreading around their spores is essentially sex. Yeah, we actually still have the Memento Mori. We haven't turned it into the Fathom King yet. Omnia mors perimit et nulli miseretur. Don't actually know what that means. One of the only things I feel kind of sad about is that the Labyrinth of Eels isn't actually a spawning point for albino morays. Not even underwater. Oh hey, our recurring nightmare. Increase nightmare. You can actually increase nightmare strength with this. If it reaches 5, you'll confront the nightmare. This is dangerous, but may win you a secret. Beneath you, the eye grows wider. The water begins to warm, to steam. Remove your garments. It may soon be time to swim. Here we are back at Venderbite. And this will probably be one of our last trips to the western side of the Untersee. There's not really that much of a reason for me to go back to London at this point. Especially because I could end up getting my sunlight-filled mirror catch box. Oh, god damn it. This is a random event that can happen occasionally when you have a mirror catch box that's full of sunlight. Essentially, it steals your sunlight. This is going to set us behind a little bit. This miscreant found his way into the cargo hold and opened a mirror catch box. The box is empty now. He looks down at his feet. Sorry, Captain. It was so shiny. Throw him in the brig. You won't get your sunlight back, but at least you've shown who's in charge. Well, that's just changed things quite a bit. We actually do now have a reason to go back to London. Alright, let's visit the curator. And give it our cinder. Beside the curator's couch waits a humped machine of iron and brass. There, it wheezes, straining to raise its arm. A recess, approximately the size of the cinder, waits. You place the cinder there and close the lid. Faint atonal music, like the pricking of starlight, drifts from within. I will never see Parabola, the curator wheezes. But perhaps you will. Take this mirror. It was born in a volcano. Dark glass, serpent carved. It reaches up to clasp your hand. I am grateful. You don't know what you've done to me. Accelerated the growth beneath my flesh. Spared me the sanatorium. Hear my dissolution. The curator moves faster than you've ever seen, flinging its arms back as if in delight. Its chest pulses, then crumbles inwards. It cries out softly and turns its masked face to watch you. Its chest crumbles like damp clay. Something damp and sleekly shining pushes out. Antennae rustle. Faceted eyes glisten. The curator's hand reaches up to caress the creature and then goes still forever. It frees itself, flexing damp wings. A moth of prodigious size. Its wings are figured with patterns in familiar colors. Pelican, Viric, Irigo. The moth perches at the head of the sofa. You've never seen one this big. Its wings are a whole library of glyphs, clues, inkblot images. It's finished, the obsequious steward says behind you, though he seems less obsequious now. All shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. But first. So, we can accept one of 4 rewards for this. A deed to a personal steam yacht, which is a different kind of ship. A huge trove of secrets. 7 more treasures, which would make us more money than we have any reason to do. Or forget other rewards. Take only the moth. It's watching you. Does it remember the flesh it dwelt in? It spoke often of the Z. Perhaps it would like to travel. It glides to your wrist like a falcon. The furred scales of its wings are thick as carpet fibers. It smells of wax and frost. Bend your head closer. If you can't hear it speak, perhaps you can read meaning in its wings? We witnessed the curator's emergence, and we have a keeper moth. Which we can now... It gives us a negative to hearts, but plus 3 mirrors, veils, and pages, which is actually a straight upgrade from our Blemigan Gallivanter. So let's equip this guy for a while. So now when we actually tell the story of this to the Fathom King, not only will we be able to tell the story perfectly, we'll even have a visual aid, the moth. Oh yeah, it was mentioned when it showed up that the mushroom has a... you can't see a big version of it. But it drew on a mustache to look older than it actually is. Also, we should probably figure out what to do with this prisoner. So the prisoner is actually taking up space. But we have 3 options. We can maroon them, which just gets rid of them. We can release them, which could potentially get us a crew back at a 33% chance. Or we could eat them. Let's see what our options are back in London first, though, because we actually now are quickly heading back, considering how close we are. I really, really should have gone to Adam's Way first, because that's where we needed to use that mirror catch box. You asked earlier, Zeno, if we can essentially if we can refill it at Eastival? Yes, we can. But there's actually a place that's closer. Oh, forgiving them isn't a difficult option. The check is not whether you forgive them or not. That's automatic. The check is whether they want to continue as part of your crew after being imprisoned. The other thing we can do with prisoners is, if we go back to the Sea of Lilies, we can actually sell them to Wisdom, the inescapable Alcatraz Island type prison. But that's mean. Thanks to our prisoner, we have nothing to hide. We've actually unlocked the Forgotten Quarter because of the Magician storyline, but we don't have the honey to do it. So, the other things it looks like we can do with the prisoner is hand them over for sentencing to the High Court of Admiralty, or sell them to the orphanage. The orphanage lies deep in the lightless labyrinth of the District of Spite. It accepts guests of all ages. This will probably get us quite a bit of money, but I've played through the Lightfinger's ambition from Fallen London. I know all about the orphanage. Sending our prisoner to the orphanage would be the most horrifying thing we could possibly do. Let's be actually just. Yeah, pretty much. Justice is served, intones a constable. You could wish he makes it sound less like dinner. Nevertheless, you've dealt with the matter honestly. Your crew are a little reassured. Right. Yeah, pretty much. Because the thing about the orphanage is people in the orphanage, they have their memories constantly wiped and are used as living fuel for creatures that make drugs. So, do we have anything else we need to do? What's in the hold? No, yeah, I think we can safely sell... Actually, let's take our supplies. We can safely sell our strange catch. This captivating treasure. Doesn't look like we can actually sell the long box here. We can sell this outlandish artifact to the veteran Privy Councillor. Now what's our hold look like? This might actually work. Let's grab 10 fuel. And 2 more supplies. So, current issue. Oh, shit. We need to fix the ship. And while I'm at it, I'll actually just completely get our terror down to 0. Hire a couple more crew. Put the ship in dry dock. Completely repair the hull. Rest in the townhouse. Now let's go. Oh hey, Dreamer, you're back. Awesome. We ended up being a slight bit delayed because of a random event firing that I was not counting on, but it's only a minor setback. And it actually gives me an opportunity to show off one of the few areas in the game we actually haven't seen yet. I have never heard of Chipotle ketchup. It sounds really good. What is it? Huh. I've always been kind of a mayonnaise person, mostly. Well, not always. I used to hate the stuff, but then I developed a taste for it. But ketchup's always pretty good. I also love barbecue sauce. I basically like most of your basic condiments except for relish. And pickles in general. I can't deal with pickles. I suppose I don't. So, we could go all the way back to Eastival to get our sunlight back, or we could just do this, travel to the surface. The engineers of the canal took advantage of existing caves and passages where they could. In ancient times, this was a passage to the underworld, they say, but still the labor must have been staggering. The story goes that the masters of the bazaar lent their arts and allies to the task, but the surface nations play down the fact. Certainly some of the tunnels look blasted or tunneled, others look dissolved. Stone pigs, a stoker whispered. Stone pigs. We're at the surface. This is the world you're familiar with, mostly. The canal emerges in the little lake called Avernus. A warm breeze ruffles blue waters. You and your crew shelter like vampires from the light, with awnings, curtains, broad-brimmed hats, poplars, birdsong, the warmth of the companion sun. So all we actually need to do here is fill the mirror catch box. The box will remain filled with light until it's opened, even underground. They do it with mirrors. But let's actually explore a bit. So this is Avernus. This is the place that leads back down. Yeah, no, you can absolutely... If you're out of money and crew, you can absolutely get trapped on the surface. But hey, let's explore a little. We have the money to buy... We can buy more fuel up here. The very last stretch of the canal runs overland to the bay by Bacoli. Then it's an easy run down to the Tyrrhenian coast into Naples. In the vast expanse of the surface, without familiar echoes, your engine sounds strangely quiet. Your crew watches the white-walled farmhouses slip by. I could live there, one muses. Over there, grow olives or something, raise a family. Oh, I come over a bit funny. Just going to sit down a moment. He collapses to the deck. His eyes roll back in his head, and a last long, sighing breath goes out of him. Even by night, the port of Naples is alive with shouts and laughter and work songs, the roar of engines. Brick warehouses loom over the moon-dazzled bay. By day, you try to stay below decks. The sun hits like a hammer, and the wind always seems to come straight from the struggling sewers of the slums. One thing you can actually do here is, with supplies and fuel, we can carry cargoes around the Mediterranean. Your ship is designed for the calmer, deadlier waters of the Untersee, but she's seaworthy, just about. If you're lucky, you might turn a profit. How long do we have? Once I leave the surface, we only have to do... we only have to go to one specific... like 3 more specific places, and then the game's actually ended. By the way, the surface, the way it works is that if you run out of crew, then it's assumed that you're the last one and will die at that point. So on the surface, your crew is your health. Yeah, it's not going to be too much longer till we finish the game. The one last place we could go is Vienna, but I think for the time being, I'm going to... Oh, if you have We Are Clay, yeah, that reduces your crew. So that would actually make it worse. You don't want to go up to the surface if you have that. The bloody glory of a new sunset. Gulls crying above the foreland. The Sirocco rising, smudging the smoke of your engines across a sky of dusty rose. Have you survived another day? And let's return down. Down to the dark and the quiet. No birdsong, no surface wars, no raucous peasants. Still water, the glint of eyes. So to make sure we're still fine, back up to 18 fuel. Actually, hell, 22 fuel. And 10 supplies. I have the money. Now, hopefully we don't get any more idiots trying to steal Sunlight before we get to Adam's Way. Because that's our next destination. Actually, we can probably expedite it a bit. This is going to be slightly risky, but I doubt that it'll... Yeah, basically, one of our... we had Sunlight from Eastival, but one of our crew members essentially opened it because it was pretty. We imprisoned him in the brig and then brought him back to London for judgment. And going to the surface, while it was more expensive, was faster than going all the way back to Eastival. even with the time I spent like poking around on the surface and showing you Naples, but not Vienna. You'll have to find that out for yourself when you eventually decide to get this game, guys. Even with all the time I spent poking around, it's still less time than it would actually take to go all the way back there and loop around. Yeah, the 3 places you can go on the surface are Avernus, Naples, and Vienna. One of the fun things you can do with Vienna is it's one of the places you can sell coffee. So if you can get coffee cheaply underground, you can sell it in Vienna for quite a bit of cash. Let's speed up our ship a bit, shall we? I'm only doing this, by the way, because I have full hull. Otherwise, it would be way too risky to actually travel fast like this. Oh god, loot boxes? Yeah, pretty much. Here we go. Adam's Way. So, as usual, we're going to have to give them a story, so we can do recent news from London. The important thing we have to do here is visit an exhibition of presbyterate curiosities. For the insignificant price of a single echo, the sober showman will lay the wonders of the elder continent directly at your feet. You head toward the bright tents. Algernon is the sober showman's beloved pet. He claims he could never part with it. It reminds him of his bright, carefree childhood in Her Majesty's old surface colonies. He speaks wistfully of Bombay afternoons, the slant of the sun through the windows, his tutor's dusty voice, reading Chaucer, the smell of cardamom rising from the kitchens. Wordlessly, you take out your mirror-catch box and open the lid. Just a fraction. Sunlight fills the tent. The showman's eyes filled with unsober tears. When you close it, he gives a strangled gasp. He has forgotten what you were discussing. Won't you open the box again? Just for a moment? He asks. He begs. You demur. Name your price, he blurts. Its name is Algernon. Unfortunately, that kicks us out of the... For whatever reason, doing that kicks us out of the city, so we can't do anything else there. But luckily, the Elegiac Cockatoo is actually a mascot that gives you 2 mirrors, and there's a couple other ways you can get it in the game, but this one is the easiest. And what do we want to do with it? Well, give it to the
Sorry, what's a hard G or no? I actually, if it's about the word elegiac, I don't actually know how that's pronounced. When the bird sees the galley, its poetry becomes doubly heartfelt. Ah, he is Algernon. Right. That's, it's pronounced Algernon. Ah, he is magnificent! Come, my solemn feathered compatriot, let us work wonders. We will be the best of friends, for a little while. They vanish inside. The bird's poetry, even muted, does little to improve the mood of the crew. Several days later, the poissonnier throws a sack of feathers overboard, yet somehow gloomy couplets continue to drift from the galley's porthole. Ah, captain, all is ready, although we will need wine, lots of wine. Well, that's just about everything we need. We can safely, at this point, head back to the Fathom King's Hold, and then start on the very short path to the end of the game. So yes, our chef cooked poor Algernon. Hey, sometimes being a seafarer requires sacrifice. Not your sacrifice, of course. Someone else's sacrifice. Yeah, there are some mean things you can do in this game. One thing I've always really liked is... Okay, so... I'm fairly vocal in general about my dislike of, moral choice systems in most games. There's only a few I feel do it right. Sunless Sea and Fall in London is one of them. Another good example is Planescape Torment. That's a great game that has an amazing moral choice system, because it's entirely, like... Just killing people in either of these games is not... Like, that doesn't make you evil, that just makes you a psychopath. The most evil thing to do is to ruin people's lives with words. Anyway. Oh no, shoot. Oh, I spent all our Z stories. Okay. We are going to need... Okay, we're close enough to a spawning point for Gillyfleurs, that this isn't too much of an issue. This again. Like I said, I didn't think of this. Okay. If we can manage to find and kill a Gillyfleur. Killing a Gillyfleur at this point in the game will give us a sea story for free. And they tend to spawn around this area. So that's something at least. If worst comes to worst, we can head back to London, grab recent news, and then trade it at any lightship for a story. Stories are fairly easy to get. It's just that I didn't remember we needed one. That's a crab. That's not what I want. Yeah, it looks like we're probably going to have to head back to London for this.
I have been getting extremely lucky with going at full speed ahead. Okay, so it's not a huge deal. It added, what, 3 to 5 minutes to our time? Sorry about that, guys. It's hard to keep all of this in your head. Like I said, I tested out this route a while back, but that was actually 2 weeks ago. Because of the whole power outage thing making it an issue. Okay. Back in London. This time we don't have anything to worry about because we don't have our sunlight-filled mirror catch box anymore, so we are carrying nothing illegal. We didn't even get the revenue, man. Hey, we can sell our long box to the Jovial Contrarian. Jovial Contrarian is one of my favorite characters. His wheeled chair squeaks through the crowd. As all visitors to the Rose Market must, he carries a mirror. He's painted over the glass, though, with the face of a bat. How much? What, for this? Allow me to explain a fundamental principle of economics. He argues over the cost, the box's condition, and whether the wood is walnut, poplar, or elm. Then he shakes your hand enthusiastically and happily pays every penny of your original price. A pair of market attendants, puffing beneath their unwieldy horse masks, help him carry it away. As his name implies, the Jovial Contrarian just likes to argue. He's not actually trying to haggle with you. As it's mentioned, he pays the entire full price that you said. He just had a lot of fun arguing over the price. Read the morning papers, rest in the townhouse, a couple times. Buy at least 2 supplies, 10 fuel, 2 more fuel, 2 more supplies. And yeah, we definitely have that recent news that we needed right there. Okay, now for real this time, let's actually get started on really finishing this game. I'm about to. That's why I needed recent news, because here's a little thing I hadn't shown off. You see these things right here? These are called light ships. They're essentially mobile sea lighthouses, but you can dock at them. You can buy supplies from them, but the other thing you can do is speak to the crew with recent news. They share their own stories with you, so we can trade one recent news for one Z story. Normally, this is not a good trade, because recent news is valuable in more other places. But in this case, we needed a Z story right now, so it is a good trade for us. Because it's one of the easiest ways to get it. Where is... yeah, Fathom King's Gold isn't too far away. We're almost there, guys. I promise.
Zeno, you...
Why would you say that, Zeno? Why would you do this to me, Zeno? I trusted you. Yep, we got another Z story. Judas. Benedict Arnold. I can't trust any of you. Treachery and deceit. I bet you hacked my game and programmed that in right there, didn't you, Zeno? What do you mean business? I love this game. Oh. Technically everything that every post message that has ever been lost washes up at Nuncio. So I assume that messages, since it covers mail, like letters and parcels, would apply to electronic messages as well. So technically every time you were going to get an SSR, but Kire spooked you instead, those are all on Nuncio. Anyway, here we go. Yep, it goes to Nuncio. Anyway, let's actually descend to an audience with the Fathom King this time. So the main thing we want to do here is attend the Poissonnier's feast. The Drowny court, soggy, chattering, hungry, populate a table of carved coral. Oh, Lady Black will remember you. That's, it basically is a thing that says you've already done this story. So it means that it's the way that they make it so that you can't do it again. Anyway, the Poissonnier claps his hands, your crew scurry in with steaming plates. There are 7 courses, each named. It begins with the first touch on the skin, a plate of silky white flesh submerged in yellow sauce. Fresh, sharp, shocking. Next comes struggling against the current, a fierce terrine of coursing flavors. It leaves the diners watery-eyed and reaching for their wine. Before they recover, bowls of pelican soup are set before them. Swallowed, the Poissonnier intones. The taste is deep and rich and heavy, lining the stomach. Several drownies lift the bowls to their lips to catch the last drops. A merciful interlude follows. The surface high above is a mild, palate-cleansing mousse. Afterwards comes lost breath, a roulade of still wriggling tentacles, bitter on the tongue's tip, but departing with a long, mellow aftertaste as it slides down the throat. The penultimate course, the abandonment of the self, is spun with sugar and crunchy with salt. Spherical cages of solidified syrup, containing fiery sweetmeats. The filigree cracks between drowny teeth. The sweetmeats vanish down damp gullets. Last of all, the promise of what is to follow, a bruleed cream of inexplicable pungency, indescribably Moorish. The diners lean back, bloated. When their senses return, they call for the Poissonnier and congratulate him upon impeccably reproducing the sensation of drowning in culinary form. It was not drowning, the Fathom King says, his baritone rolling above their babble. It was love. He raises his glass to the poissonnier. We have now lost the bandaged poissonnier and gained the bandaged chef paramount. Yo, Shadows of... Oh god, I gotta check that once we're done here. Oh, we would have needed 2 Z stories anyway, so that's actually good that we ran into the thing, because we have to go back. Whew. Now let's actually discuss the matter of our father's bones. So let's do our last 3 things. First off, yes, thank you, Zeno. I'm sorry I called you Judas. Present the Fathom King with your memento mori. Your complexity. Here is a miracle of engineering, of sacrifice, and of the red science. I present the memento mori. Intriguing. What a completely horrible object, the Fathom King observes. Honestly, if you had flayed a star and brought me its skin, it couldn't be more appalling than this. But I recognize the achievement. You have fulfilled my request. At his gesture, a drowny child walks forward, bare feet slapping, to present you with a knife of coral. The Chamberlain, meanwhile, kindly arranges to replace your device with a weapon from a ship they had recently eaten. Introduce the Fathom King to your chef paramount. The chef has learnt everything there is to know of cuisine above the waves. Perhaps he's ready to learn of the culinary treasures below. You'd miss him, but you owe him the chance. Magnificent! The chef's mustaches quiver with excitement. He kisses his hand to you and bounds creakily to the Fathom King's side. I am at your complexity's service. I have so many questions. The saviors of the Pelican Wash, are they... No, the savors of the Pelican Wash, are they distinct? Can Muttersalt survive that fundamental pressure? Is the feast truly fluke flesh? The king attempts several times to interrupt the chef's excited babbling. When he fails, he gestures to his chamberlain. You are rewarded with a word which compels attention and an assurance that your service has been recognized. And finally, bear witness to the curator's end. The first curator was eldest among its kind. This will certainly satisfy the Fathom King. And then ceased to move. I had never seen a moth so big, and its wings, figured with patterns in all the colors I had brought the curator. The Fathom King listens. His face is expressionless, but his underregions pulse with hammerish fury. Very good, he says at last, a little breathlessly. You have fulfilled my request. Come closer. I will tell you something of the movement of moths, their mysteries and evasions. Finally, the Fathom King beckons you closer. You have done everything I asked. So few people do, you know. You are an exception, and so I shall make an exception for you. You bend to place your ear by his mouth. Yeah, it's kind of implied he got off to moths. The Fathom King is kind of gross. The Fathom King stinks of salt and rotting flesh, but also of something electric, ozone, alien. His breath is cold. He whispers in your ear, and he presses something into the palm of your hand. Go now. Good luck. He smiles thinly. Perhaps one day your child will stand before me and ask the same questions. Oh, so our question was, where do I find the bones of my father? And he's implying that our child might do the same. Although, I don't think gameplay-wise we have a kid. Anyway. That is all of the Fathom King's requests. Now, we just have to head over to the Shell in it. Unfortunately, I don't believe we can. The Bandersnatch is, as I recall... Let me check real quick. Yeah, it's a forward weapon, because it's specifically a replacement for the Memento Mori, which was also a forward weapon that we couldn't equip. That's actually a thing, because the things that you turn into the Fathom King are always either weapons or engines, and since you can only have one engine and one weapon equipped, or you basically, although you could have more in your hold, the game takes pity on you in the case of if you brought the only engine you currently have equipped to the Fathom King, or the only weapon you currently have equipped, and they replace it with something that takes up the same slot, so that you're not having to limp back to London with no weapon, or God forbid, no engine to your ship, which would actually make it impossible. So yeah, the Bandersnatch we cannot equip because we couldn't equip the Memento Mori. Well, it's kind of a mind-meldy stream, you know? Fuel and supplies. Frigates are one of my favorite things to fight because you get both a cache of curiosities from fighting them, as well as fuel and supplies automatically. They're essentially Z-faring loot boxes. We are super close to the end of the game, for the record. Like, oh, and there go our engines fire. We lost a whole bunch of our hull, but funnily enough, we can basically repair it instantly with our extreme surplus of supplies. One more push. And here we are, the Shellnet. I don't actually... Here's the thing, I don't actually know if that's how that's pronounced. Like it's Shogunate. I don't actually know how... it's literally the scientific term for turtle. So that's the thing. Yeah, God. I haven't played New Vegas in so long. I should really give it another shot because I love that game so much. Anyway. The bone men nod and mutter. They poke the bone with their long-nailed fingers. Sniff. Taste. Yes, says the one with the missing hand. We have missed you. The tallest nods to you and squeezes into a crack in the shell. So these guys are about to give us our father's bones. This is the big thing we've been leading up to the whole time. They're the ones who have them. They named their price. We did all those things for the Fathom King. We have fulfilled the price. Let's see our father's bones. The Bone Man squeezes out, grunting, his white clay coating tracked with sweat. He holds a clattering leather sack crammed with not human bones. Things like great beams of ivory timber, a jaw crowded with savage teeth the size of fingers. The Bone Man frowns at you. Surprised? You are not quite human either, as you may know, but your father was an authentic monster. You never knew your parents. There was a joke at the orphanage that you were found out on the beach like a stranded fish. You fall to your knees, your blood pulsing with salt. The Z roars in your brain. At the edge of your vision, scaled shapes coil. The air turns red, then black, then no color at all. By the time you wake, the Bone Men have dragged you out of their temple tent and left you on the floor of the shell. The bones of your father monster are tucked into the curve of your arm. The Z is with you now, in a way you have never known before. We now have won your father's bones. We gained 25 veils, and we now have a trophy, a model monster. And here's where things get good. So the way to actually finish and win the game is, well, for most Father's Bones, it's you get your father's bones, you bring them back to London, you bury them. But the urchin version of Father's Bones... By the way, did you ever find it interesting that they always referred to her as an urchin and not an orphan? Necessarily? Urchin means both orphan and... But an urchin is also a sea creature. Yep, she absolutely was. And Father's Bones has, for urchins, has a special victory. The Z looks more inviting by the day. How could you have thought it hostile? It is invigorating, fruitful. You scratch at your arm. Your skin is always itching up here in the dry. Your father came from the sea. You know now that you could take its place there. This will end the game in a victory of sorts. Yes, this does count as a victory. We could go back home. We could bury our bones. I mean, like, the bones. We could go back to our townhouse, find a wife, find a husband maybe, try to forget all of this, try to forget the pounding of the Z in our head. But look at us. Look at what we've become. We're a cannibal. We don't have a soul. We've been altered by the sea. We've been altered. Our spleen is made of crystal. We've been changed in ways that no human should be. Is it really right for us to just go back to London? Or should we take this opportunity to dive into the sea? Well, as long as we're on the sea, that card will keep showing up. So, there it is. Shall we? You go into the water like a flung knife. The shouts of your crew are curtailed. The water opens like a gate and closes like a lover's arms. Your mouth is full of the taste of salt and you gulp it down gratefully. Changing. Your skin has begun to peel. It will be gone entirely in days to come. Already the scales peek through in the claws. You will pass arrow swift through the spaces that humans never see. You will fill your belly with fish and your mates with children. You will hear the stories of the flukes, accept the worship of the lesser beasts, feast on the unwary. You are home. Once again, there we are in the background. And there it is. This is the end game screen. We get the screen whether we die or take a victory. And yes, that was a victory. I'll just quickly go over the screen. And yeah. So, Kitty, retired August 1st, 1888. All we had was an ironclad will, so our next character will inherit our lodgings as long as... I can't actually read that last bit because my chat window where I can see you guys is in the way. We have all sorts of other stuff that we could have gotten, including that thing that you get if you court Lady Black. Although we basically are at this point. This is what I meant when I said we would basically be back for Lady Black. It's not like we're leaving the sea. We were leaving the sea forever. Now, the last important thing is the Warrant of Redemption. This is for our next character. I'll just show off what it does. We have these 5 options of what we were to Kitty here, which are rival, pupil, salvager, shipmate, or correspondent. Each of these allows us to keep half of the previous captain's stat value of one particular stat, as well as some specific thing. Rival gets one of their weapons. Pupil retains 50% of their money. Salvager also retains 50% of their money. Shipmate retains 1 officer. And correspondent retains their chart, which is actually, you never want to pick correspondent ever, because the the problem with having your chart already shown, you get experience for discovering a thing for the first time, but having your chart already shown means that you don't get that experience. So it wasn't thought through well enough. But as you can see, if you pick rival, we get to pick one of these weapons to keep. Pupil, we go from starting with 50 echoes to starting with 2,032. Salvager, same thing, but we also increase our veils. So you see how veils changes from 25 to 32. Ramirez changes from 25 to 28. Shipmate, we get to pick from the various officers. Although, unfortunately, not the Moth. The Moth that we had is not available as an officer you can take with you. Or you can start with Kitty's chart. For the sake of whatever, I'm going to go with Salvager, since Kitty's main thing was her veils. So this will give us a good head start there. And show you accepting the legacy. And thus, once it loads, 3 decades ago, in the reign of Victoria, London was stolen by bats. Now it lies a mile below the surface. It was dreadfully inconvenient for everyone, but it opened a vast black ocean to you. Welcome to the Untersee. And with that, the promise of a new character, with inheriting some of the veils of Kitty's adventures, the next adventure begins. And for the time being, that's it. So, that is Sunless Sea, everyone. One of my favorite games of all time. This will not be the end of the streams. I'll just switch to a new game. I already have one in mind. But this is it for Sunless Sea. If you guys want to learn more about this game, I highly suggest getting this yourself. If you're not entirely sure yet whether you want to spend the money on this without getting into the lore first, then I heavily suggest Fallen London. It's free. It's a free online game, and it's the same writers as this, set in the same universe. I know that someone here has already decided to go to London. Frog. And yeah, it's just, God, I can't even articulate how much I love this game. I just hope I've managed to convey that feeling to you guys from my playthrough. So, yeah. That's it, everyone. I'll head back to the title screen. And yeah. Goodbye, everyone. It's been a pleasure.